Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video. I couldn't help but do another one. But today's video, I want to talk about Hershel Ree. As we know, we are getting into the second season of Dead City coming up next year. And from what Logan Kim has said, the actor who plays Hershel this go around, says that Hershel is going to go down kind of a dark path. We're going to see another side of him. And I just wanted to talk about what that could possibly mean, because there's been a lot of speculation, I think, and theories revolving around what that could all really mean as far as his mind state or the psychological effects his time with Dama really had on him, and the things that she probably talked or whispered into his ear, or just the way that she treated him, and then inevitably cutting off his pinky toe like a psychopath, and then presenting it to Negan like some sort of gift, like, oh, you should be impressed by this. But I really think we're going to see how that really affected him, probably on a couple different levels. But I really want to just talk about that and kind of going into what we could possibly see his character turn, how far dark, what that really means going down a dark path, seeing this other side of him. Because we did see after he was rescued, he showed little to no emotion when Maggie ran up to him and gave him a hug, like, like a mother would that is just relieved to have her child back. He just acted like he didn't care. And this kind of goes on par with his comic book counterpart, if you're not familiar. In the comics, he is just kind of a little douche, and he grows up to be very entitled, because in the comics, Maggie actually takes a leadership role, or is the new, front face, or whatever that you would call it, for the Commonwealth. And he just grows up to be very entitled, thinking he can do whatever he wants. And in the comics, of course, Carl is still very much alive. He is the end game for the comic books. And in the comics, him and Hershel do not like each other. More so, Carl does not like the way that Hershel's grown up, thinking he can just do whatever he likes. His mom's in charge of this large community, so, the hell with everybody else. And in the TV show, we're kind of seeing something similar, but it's more, I don't know, like he thinks that his mom didn't do enough for him, or she's been obsessed with Negan, which she has been, to be fair. Her hatred of him, and just every time that he is around, and the way she would act, and just probably things she told him growing up, and trying to smother him with her love and whatnot, just being kind of really a protective mother. I mean, the situation calls for it in a sense, being that they're in a post-apocalyptic world, but I think that did him more harm than good, really, as a character, as a kid growing up in this world, that it just does him in a sense that it's worse off than it would have been if she just would have treated him with respect, taught him how to take care of himself, and just instead of being this overbearing parent in this situation. And again, from what Logan Kim has said, the actor who plays Hershel, we're going to see this other side of him. So I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit, as far as what kind of psychological effects will his time with Dama and the torture that he went through under Croats, and the things that they probably said to him or told him about Negan, about who he was back in the day before his mother's group ever came across him, before he was born, and just probably dissecting this kid's mind and really poisoning it against his mother, just judging from the way he reacted when he was rescued, after he got back home, and just being an all-around little brat for the most part. And it's just a really unlikable character. So you have to wonder, what did this do to his state of mind? Because we see after he's rescued at the end of Dead City, after he's back home, he has this drawing of Dama that he does. And it leads you to wonder, what did he draw this, I guess, in inspiration of? Does he miss her, in a sense? Does he miss the time that they had? Did she really poison him against his mom, poison his mind? Or is this really about revenge for what she did to him, how she mutilated him, and how he's going to get his ultimate revenge on her, and what he's going to do to carry it out? And so I really think that it could go a couple of different ways as far as what they plan to do with that part of his character, if he's going to be this kid that has basically developed Stockholm Syndrome, where he kind of he kind of understands her point of view and the things that she's trying to accomplish, just kind of despite his mother, because he comes off as a spoiled little brat who shows no appreciation for the things that his mom's done for him, or the other community members that he's known throughout his childhood, and people that became Maggie's family and everything. It just really leads me to believe that he's going to either probably become really obsessed and want to carry out some really deep-seated dark revenge, or maybe he even could go down the path to be a villain later in life, because in the comics, like I mentioned, his counterpart is just, he's a little pissant. I don't like him. I hated the character, and he just thinks he can do whatever he wants, and I think they're going to possibly take it a step further where he could be some sort of villain figure later in the Walking Dead universe, depending how long this lasts, because we do probably have 3 or 4 more years of Daryl, at least 2 or 3 more years of Dead City, leading up to who knows what, because I don't think they really have a plan laid in place, because certain actors like Andy Lincoln, Denai Guerrera, they're kind of off doing their own thing now. But I'm just really curious, how far will they go with Hershel as far as his character development? What kind of person will he turn into? Is he just going to be obsessed with Dama in the most unhealthy way, in a sense where he wants to be with her again, and he's got it in his head that she can take better care of him or something like that? Because clearly the child has issues, just beyond normal day-to-day issues that we face today. All the years that his mother was just obsessed with Negan and not really forgetting or let him forget what he did, what he took from them, and going into Dama and just this person that wants Negan to be who he was. And I really think we're going to see Negan struggle with that this next season, just judging off the trailer that we got and seeing how he's going to react, getting a new Lucille, and I'm sure all the memories and feelings that's going to stir up for him. But I think we're in for probably a pretty good season with Dead City, as far as exploring Hershel's character, exploring Negan, his issues that he may have regarding his past, and being thrust into this role of leadership again, and just what it all could mean for Maggie, as far as will she ever really forgive him and forget, or just let him move past it so she can move past it. Because I really think that we're going to see Negan struggle with the decisions that he's going to have to make to put on this show and put on this front and everything. And I think parts of that are going to happen at the worst possible times regarding Hershel and regarding Maggie. They're going to see him kind of revert back to that, especially for Maggie, because I'm very confident we're going to see a few scenes when she goes back after him, feeling guilty for leaving him and whatnot. And it's going to be at the worst possible moments. She's going to see him with this new bat, and just, it's going to throw her back to that night in the middle of the lineup. And I think Negan's going to have a bad reaction to that too. Like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to see any of this. And I think we're in for quite the emotional roller coaster, and really diving into the psychosis of Hershel and the things that he's going through, and his what possibly could be an obsession with Dama and Croats, and just probably the weird feelings that's been stirred up in him, and just all these different thoughts that have been planted in his mind. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out, what they do with it, what they do with Negan, and just how it's going to develop season from season, depending how long they actually are able to pull this off without people kind of getting sick of it or anything. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Of course, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And come back for more Walking Dead content just like this, and I will see you next time. So take care. Bye.